the music fades. Jeremiah Jones loved a good party. The music, the laughter, the feeling of leaving the troubles of the world behind, even just for a night. For Jeremiah and his friends, these gatherings were more than just fun. They were an escape from the harshness of the world outside. Every weekend, they gathered at his cousin Tyrell's place, a small apartment in the heart of the city, to forget their worries for a while. On one particular night, the air was thick with energy. The music pulsed through the walls, and laughter erupted from every corner. The dancing, the drinks, the games, it felt like freedom. But in the back of Jeremiah's mind, a nagging thought kept surfacing. Something that had been bothering him for a while. Just that morning, his neighbor, Miss Rosa, an elderly woman who'd lived in the building her entire life, had gotten an eviction notice. The rent had skyrocketed, and her fixed income couldn't keep up. Jeremiah had seen the look of despair in her eyes as she explained that she'd have to leave the community she'd known for over 50 years. And it wasn't just her. Slowly, one by one, Jeremiah was watching his neighbors, his friends, his family, lose their homes, their businesses, and their peace. But now, in this room with pounding music and carefree laughter, it was easy to ignore that reality. When Tyrell handed him a drink, Jeremiah hesitated, feeling the weight of that nagging thought press down even harder. "Yo, Jeremiah, you all right, man?" Tyrell asked, noticing his friend's distant gaze. Jeremiah forced a smile and nodded. "Yeah, I'm good. Just thinking about Miss Rosa." Tyrell's face softened, but then he brushed it off with a shrug. "Man, don't stress about that now. Tonight's for forgetting all that mess, remember? She'll figure something out." But Jeremiah couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He looked around the room at his friends and family, and he saw it clearly for the first time. The party wasn't helping them forget the oppression they faced. It was keeping them numb to it. Numb enough to accept it, to feel helpless against it. If they kept escaping into the party, they'd never find the clarity to fight back. Jeremiah set his drink down, his voice clear and steady as he spoke to the room. "Hey everyone, can we turn the music down for a second?" People looked at him, surprised. They'd never seen Jeremiah turn down a good time, but something in his voice caught their attention. The music faded to silence, leaving only the soft hum of the city outside. "Listen, I know we come here to get away from everything. The bills, the evictions, the news, all that stuff. But I've been thinking. Miss Rosa got an eviction notice today, and she's not the only one. We're all feeling it, every day. And we keep pushing it down, escaping it for a few hours. But that's exactly what they want us to do, isn't it? They want us to stay quiet, to stay numb, so we don't see what they're doing." The crowd fell silent, some nodding, others looking away. Tyrell shifted uncomfortably, but didn't interrupt. Jeremiah continued, "I think we have a choice right now. We can keep ignoring it, hoping that somehow things will just change on their own, or we can wake up. We can let the party end and get serious, get focused. If we keep going like this, just letting everything happen to us, we're going to lose everything." One of his friends, Nina, raised her hand, smiling sheepishly. "But what can we even do? We're just us. We don't have money or power." Jeremiah looked around, meeting each person's eyes. "No, we don't have a lot of money or power, but we have each other. We can organize. We can speak up for our neighbors. We can support people like Miss Rosa. We can push back. But to do that, we need clear minds. We need to be sober and steady. If we keep hiding from the reality, we'll miss our chance to make a change. One by one, people began to nod. Jeremiah's words struck a nerve, igniting a sense of purpose they hadn't felt in a long time. The carefree laughter had faded, replaced by something heavier yet stronger. A commitment, a shared understanding that their community, their home, was worth fighting for. In the weeks that followed, Jeremiah and his friends began meeting regularly, not to party, but to plan. They organized protests, wrote letters to city officials, and created a fund to support families at risk of eviction. They taught each other about tenants' rights and connected with local advocacy groups. The work wasn't easy, and there were days they felt disheartened. But they kept going, each of them clearer, sharper, and more determined than ever. As for Miss Rosa, she was able to stay in her home thanks to the funds and support that Jeremiah and his friends had rallied. And she wasn't alone. Slowly, they began to see real change in their community. Small but powerful victories that reminded them why they'd stepped away from the party in the first place. Looking back, Jeremiah realized that letting the party end wasn't about giving up joy or fun. It was about choosing a joy that was deeper, one that came from standing together, from knowing they were making a difference. They'd learned that being sober-minded wasn't a burden but a strength, one that allowed them to rise against the oppression they faced. And so the music faded, the party ended. But in its place, they found a new rhythm, a new purpose. They found the clarity to see their challenges, the courage to face them, and the strength to overcome them together.